The course of the last international break. I tend to think if you're that way inclined, fair enough, you want England to do well, you'd like to see your players call up, but take the positive that they are rested for your club. 21 on the clock, 0-0. There is an Arsenal player down, it's Bukayo Saka, and well, this doesn't look good for him. He looks in some pain. I think his left knee that he's holding. Yeah, I mean, he has a little look round the corner, just spins it around Ben Godfrey. Ben Godfrey clatters into him. It's a clash of knees. And I think it's Mike Dean, isn't it, the referee? He's a bit slow to allow the physios to come on here. And he's been lying on his side, holding his knee for a little bit of time. And I think Saka's a pretty honest young man. Loves his football. He's having a superb season, isn't he?
Oh, he's a serious player, isn't he? What a baller. And what I like about him is the character he's shown, not just from the penalty miss in the European Championship final in the summer, but also having to deal with the racism, the disgusting racism that he did mainly via social media, although I believe some in sort of person as well afterwards. Yet the character he's shown to come back, star again for both England and his club.
Absolutely. He's real talent. He's got his feet on the ground, very level-headed, and there's a lot of outpouring and love for him, wasn't there, after the Euros, and rightly so,
Well, Arsenal might be thinking about readying a substitute. The bench, the goalkeeper Arthur Okonkwo. They've got Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang there, Rob Holding, Cedric Suarez, Nicola Pepe, Nuno Tavares, Albert Sambi Lokonga, Mohamed El Neni and Eddie Nketiah. For Everton, Asmir Begovic is the goalkeeper, John Joe Kenny, Mason Holgate, Fabian Delph, Alex Iwobi, Cenk Tosun, Andre Gomez, Jean-Philippe Gubama and Jared Branthwaite. Like the look of Branthwaite, talk of a new contract for the 19-year-old centre-half as the ball is back underway with Arsenal at the back. And it's forward by Xhaka. Martinelli can't turn it round the corner, but a loose ball runs to Lacazette. Gordon's won it back though off of Tierney, tries to then play it off the Scot. Doesn't quite get that one right, Anthony Gordon.
Well, he's had a good start there, Gordon. He's been really sharp and aggressive on Kieran Tierney. That's going to be a good little battle down that side.
Lanky figure over on that right hand side, Anthony Gordon. He's one that's come through the youth system, and by all accounts the now former sporting director Marcel Brands is reportedly a really big supporter of his, someone he has tried to push through in towards the first team squad, and he is now proving to be a real asset for Everton, albeit in this confidence sapping run. Mina back to Pickford. We'll be watching the crowd in the next couple of minutes because we're 2 minutes away from the 26th. And then it's the 27th. If you're wondering why, it represents 27 years since they last won a trophy. Godfrey trying to get the ball in field. That one bounces off of Tomiyasu.
Well, it bounced off Tomiyasu because Godfrey's a right footer, so rather than trying to look down the line with his left foot to Richarlison, which was the easy pass, he tried to play it on the inside because that's onto his right foot, and he was just crowded out.
Anthony Gordon trying to close down Martinelli. Poor clearance by Gabriel, straight to Gray. Can he find the gap? He can't, but it runs to Richarlison anyway. Now Doucouré in the box, and he's turned on a sixpence, and then the ball just got caught slightly under his feet, and he's tamely rolled it wide. That was another opening there for Everton.
Yeah, and maybe they just forced that error from Gabriel to give away. They went and hunted the ball down as it came back to him at centre half. He had a little rush clearance. Eventually, Richarlison pops it into Doucouré, and as the little spin was superb, but then the finish didn't quite match the skill. Just dragged it wide.
Richarlison and Doucouré, the Watford connection, two signed to play under Marco Silva, who they took rather unceremoniously from Watford, albeit that the record books say he was sacked by the Hornets first. Everton coming forward through Godfrey. Again, all right-footed down the left, takes it towards the byline. What's the cross like? Poor, straight at Townsend, but it was low and it was awkward And, well, he's lucky that through the clearance eventually to the near side by Gabriel, Everton have got themselves a throw.
Yeah, but what he is doing, Godfrey, is really stretching Saka. You know, when Arsenal don't have the ball, he's going to have to do a lot of tracking back Saka today against Godfrey.
Richarlison with 2 red shirts around him. He's done really well to keep it in, but only at the expense of giving it to Ødegaard. Passed into the 18-yard box, cleared away by Arsenal. Nobody in the Everton half, and that is what this Everton press has done. As you mentioned, just pushing pretty much the whole Arsenal team back. Keane, right-footed, spinning high ball down the left-hand side. Gray can't win that one off of Tomiyasu, but Saka is outnumbered, and there's been plenty of that from Everton in this half so far. Townsend plays the 1-2 with Richarlison, tries the shot, takes a deflection, runs behind. Everton corner.
Yeah, just this touch here from Richarlison gets away from him. I mean, he does really well to win the ball back, plays a nice little 1-2, and as he tries to cut in inside the box to the left-hand channel, in onto his right foot, the touch just gets away from him ever so slightly, so that means the finish is a bit stretched and rushed. In the end, it's a little nick and it's gone out for a corner. It's taken quick.
Taken short by Townsend to Gray. Can he work the opening? He can! Oh, it's a fabulous ball in. Diving towards it was Mina. He didn't get the touch and nobody else gambled either. Flashes across the face of Aaron Ramsdale's goal. Brilliant quality delivery from Gray there, but nobody could get the final touch. Goal kick, still scoreless.
Yeah, it's a brilliant ball. I mean, why is Yerry Mina the only one that's gambled across the middle of the box there? You've got 4 players standing on their heels. And, I mean, the action on the pitch is matched by the action off.
Yeah, absolutely. A number of the Everton fans are walking out now in this it's the 28th minute, it's past the 27th, but I guess they had to see the chance, didn't they? As Allen has the ball on the left, and this is the protest. There's a sign saying, "We demand nil satis nisi optimum," the club's motto, nothing but the best. And, well, it also says that we think it's time the club should too. Well, their feeling is that the board and the owner are not offering anywhere near their best as an offside flag goes up against, I think it was Kieran Tierney from the pass by Martinelli. But the crowd are making plenty of noise as well at this same point, supporting the team. As Mike Dean is having a little chat with Jordan Pickford. And, well, they're certainly making this voices heard. Oh my, I've just seen a replay of an incident involving Godfrey and Tomiyasu, and Tomiyasu ended up with Godfrey's foot in his face, and that to me, we'll get your opinion, looked deliberate by Godfrey, and we have got the VAR checking serious foul play, and could Ben Godfrey be in serious trouble here?
Yep, I think he should. That is a certain red. You know, there's no place for this on a football pitch. As Tomiyasu slides off the pitch, Godfrey tries to land on him, makes it appear accidental, and he might have just done enough to get away with that. I mean, Mike Dean looks to be running away, but that was a foul.
Well, that is a red card, surely, all day long. Tomiyasu has got a stud mark on the right of his chin. Well, if the VAR today doesn't give this, I'll be amazed. Stuart Atwell is there. It's not going to be a red card. They have decided that is an accidental challenge, I guess is the word. I was going to use the word attack on Tomiyasu by Godfrey, but it is not going to be a red card.
Yeah, that's a surprise. I think it's the reaction of Godfrey once he's put his foot in his face, and he then turns around and appears like it's an accidental stumble, but to me it was anything but.
Well, that is a seriously controversial issue that VAR has had a look at, and what's interesting is that Rafa Benitez is going to be making a change.
Well, it's injury enforced.
Mason Holgate, coming on for Yerry Mina, the man that's only just back from all that injury trouble. And that's a shame because he started in dominant fashion. And Mason Holgate makes his return after a 3-match suspension for a red card picked up against Tottenham. So timely that he's back and available, but another bit of disappointment for Everton, who yet again lose one of their most influential players.
Yes, another injury. And as you say, he started well, was dominant in the air, won everything that came his way. And he was sharp. He was the only one gambling in the box. I mean, he's brilliant at both ends of the pitch so far.
Pickford's clearance is won by Arsenal, chased to the near side by Godfrey. Very fortunate in both commentator and summarisers' opinions to still be on the field. The most important opinion there was Stuart Atwell, the VAR, and Mike Dean, who I'm assuming never saw it. Ball on the left with Arsenal. Tierney coming forward. What I think may have saved Godfrey as well as the deflected ball goes behind for an Arsenal corner, it might be that Tomiyasu seemed quite sort of calm about it all, whereas I'd have been going ballistic.
Yeah, well, maybe that's his temperament, Tomiyasu's temperament. But nonetheless, yeah, you're right. I think that looked dreadful, to be honest.
I wonder whether there'll be more on that to come. In the meantime, Arsenal will test Everton's fragile defence with this set piece. Here comes the delivery towards the near post. Poor one. Header away by Allen. And Arsenal's fans who made their trip up to the northwest today, I think will be very disappointed by what they have seen so far, especially with a delivery like that. Only Leicester and Crystal Palace have conceded more goals from set pieces this season than Everton. Easily dealt with that one. Arsenal coming forward again though. Saka to the inside right position, and Tomiyasu is delivery in, clutched quite comfortably to the chest of Jordan Pickford, wearing, in my opinion, a fabulous goalkeeping kit today. Black with sort of yellow, they're not vertical stripes, are they? They're sort of almost hand-drawn stripes with then one blue stripe to cut across it. Really like that kit. Not a goalkeeper kit buy of me though, personally.
Well, I don't think it's not the most colour coordinated with your orange boots and orange gloves and then the black and yellow top. I mean, it looks like hater. He got dressed in the dark, let's be honest.
You're not a fan of his at all.
That challenge on Van Dijk.
Get over it. Even Van Dijk's got over it. He came and got his retribution in midweek. Ball is with Arsenal at the back. White gives it to Tomiyasu. Interesting, Tomiyasu, he sort of starts quite narrow, doesn't he? He almost makes up a back three with Tierney's got no interest in doing that. He's much higher out on the left-hand side. And then often it's sort of underlapping runs from Tomiyasu as a result, as and when he gets forward, although right now tight to the touchline. Closed down by Gordon, who's switched sides for the time being. Arsenal just finding a little bit of a gap, and there's a ball in behind to Saka. Just had a little bit too much on it. Might have been offside, Saka, but that was a little bit better from the Gunners. Still scoreless though, 33.5 minutes gone.
Yeah, I think again, Bukayo Saka, he's so frustrated because he just wants the ball earlier, and I think Tomiyasu just took another touch, so he didn't really need to take it, and even Odegaard could have spun it round the corner to Bukayo as well. Got to do better for him, because he's on another level. He wants that ball much quicker, much earlier. That's where he's going to do the damage.
Where do you like him most, Saka?
It's a good question. What, in terms of off the right or off the left?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen him as a wing back. I've seen him as a sort of, attacking almost part of a front three as a wide forward, and then as the sort of outright winger as well. Yeah,
I prefer him as an outright winger. You'd probably say off the right is where he can cut in and get his goals, but I don't think that's going to be hard. Well, yeah, I'd probably say off the right.
Quite been at his best so far today, but as David Connolly mentioned, service perhaps lacking. Everton have just been nullified a little bit recently, but they're trying to turn that back in their favour now with Gray and now Townsend tight to the touchline on the right. There's the ball in Richarlison. It was a little bit awkward as it came to Gordon. We'll come back at Richarlison, smacked it into the 6-yard box. Plenty of time for Ben White to take control of it, spin and clear. Michael Keane sends it back out to the right hand side. Gray down by the corner flag, comes back to Coleman, first time crossing to the box to Richarlison. He's got time to take it down. Gordon strikes, takes a deflection off of White. Arsenal clear, but a good spell of possession and attacking intent from Everton.
This is a brilliant ball in, first time from Seamus Coleman, and on the swivel Anthony Gordon with a powerful strike, but Ben White put his body on the line. A brilliant block from Ben White. Absolutely fantastic defending.
Everton substitute centre half Holgate gives it back to Pickford, left foot high, hanging delivery out to the right hand side, looking for Gray, I think it is, out on the right hand side. Doesn't work. The ball comes back to Everton centre-halves. All that might have been given away by Keane. Godfrey just didn't really go to it. Saka, I think, has won his team the free kick, has he here?
Yeah, it's a poor pass to him, though, from Michael Keane. I mean, it's slightly slow and on the wrong side of him. Just invite Saka in to go and nip it off Godfrey, who's had a sort of mixed evening so far.
At TalkSport Live, if you want to join the conversation. Is this not the same Everton team that lost 4-1 to Man United? One message coming in, listening in Lagos. Apologies, I cannot work out how to pronounce your name. Hyginus? I don't know how you pronounce that. I do apologise. And Adam is listening in from Indiana in the United States. My buddy supports Everton. My other mate supports Arsenal. I love the banter back and forth, and this from a City fan. Well, yeah, I mean, these two sides are nothing compared to Man City at the moment, that's for sure. Give us your predictions, give us your thoughts, take photos of where you're listening and tweet them in at TalkSport Live. 36.5 minutes just past that mark in this game, still scoreless. Frankly, neither goalkeeper has been tested, even come close to being tested as yet. Keane gives it to Gordon, inside left position. Now to Holgate, to Allen, I should say. But fortunate that Everton still have possession here after a couple of ricochets. Gordon gives it back to Seamus Coleman. Coleman trying to turn away from Martinelli. The Brazilian makes the block. Good work there down that far side. Coleman will take the throw. I was covering Everton on a regular basis when Seamus Coleman signed. 60 grand he cost from Sligo Rovers.
Amazing.
But there can't be many better value Premier League signings ever.
No, absolutely not. No.
Martinelli, though, looks to be getting away from Coleman here. Pass infield, easy for Keane to step out of defence and take, and then down the right for Townsend, holding it up. Gabriel at his back. There's the foul by the defender. Are these two, with Gabriel and White, are they the ones that Arsenal have been missing? Are they the ones to take them forward as a pairing for the next sort of 5-10 years?
I don't know. That's a good question. You know, Ben White obviously was very expensive, and Brighton have done all right since he's gone, but nonetheless he's got all the physical attributes certainly to be a top centre half. And Gabriel, I'm just not sure on Gabriel so far. I'm really not that left hand side of the pitch. I think you need a top left side defender, because your left fullback or wing back is going to be up the pitch a lot of the time, so you've got to be able to defend one-on-one, and I just don't know whether Gabriel can do that
either
well enough.
That or two, almost what Man United did in the weekend, have those two number sixes to be, drop in and be really part of that defensive unit. I take the point. Still just 23, Gabriel, time on his side. And with Ben White at 24, there is time for them to continue to improve, both of them as individuals and a pairing. As Tierney has it, left side of the box, there's the cross, hits the defender, behind it goes. Arsenal have their second corner of the game.
Yeah, they worked it well actually to Kieran Tierney in a little bit of space. He's had issues getting his crosses in. I mean, Anthony Gordon has blocked a couple. This time Seamus Coleman gets a little nick in it. So that's one way to stop the supply into the front, is to stop the crosses, and they've done that well so far, Everton, although admittedly they have given away a couple of corners in the process.
Here it comes from the near post, header on I think by Partey, hits another Everton player and goes behind again. Another corner for Arsenal. Arsenal, by the way, they average a goal this season every 14 corners, which is a pretty astounding stat. Actually not the best in the Premier League, amazingly. West Ham in under 14, 13.3 to be precise. Not sure what 0.3 of a corner looks like, but be another in-swinger from the Arsenal left, much deeper this time. That one's easy for Pickford. Don't know why he punched it. That looked like an easy claim. He's lucky, I think, that as he went down he was given the free kick.
Absolutely. Could have easily taken that in two hands. I mean, when he has come to claim these sorts of issues, I mean, he is blocked off a little bit by Lacazette, but nonetheless
he got past him, and then there was loads of time.
Yeah.
Bizarre. Flapped at it. Richarlison was able to clear, but it didn't matter.
Especially in terms of how he wants to play, in terms of getting the ball right. Can I quickly distribute, set us on the attack? I mean, that would be a much better option rather than trying to flap and punch it away.
Because he is a good distributor with his feet.
Absolutely, and with his hands.
Yeah.
Well, his gloves aren't
strange.
Gloves and boots aren't orange, they're kind of pink, really. My mistake, if anyone.
Does that make it better? Less dressed in? Did he have a bit of light then?
Maybe a tiny bit of light.
Little crack in the curtains.
Because, you know, orange and yellow don't really go together, do they? They're not the best colours.
Don't ask me.
Oh, are you
That's
really?
why I always look like I do.
I played with someone, Arjan Dezeu.
Oh, really?
Do you remember Arjan Dezeu? He was colourblind.
There is...
At Wigan, and he used to say to me, what colour is he on our team? Yeah, he's on our team in training.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Yellow and green bibs, did you have?
Yeah.
That's a disaster. Absolute disaster. I'll tell you what, it's getting better, football, with colourblind spectators and commentators, but you do still get some clashes. I remember once doing Sunderland against West Brom, which doesn't sound like it should clash, the two of them in their stripes, and it was a sort of dull day, and I really struggled, I have to say. I must have got player ID, would have been disastrous that day. Fortunately today it's red and blue. That's pretty much as contrasting as you can possibly hope for. There must be colourblind footballers. It's not that uncommon
I'm just giving you
disability.
one.
Exactly, that's what I mean. But what I mean is that can't be unusual.
Yeah.
You probably hear stories like that on a regular basis if you go to training grounds. Not something talked about too often. Tomiyasu has it for Arsenal, moves it to the right hand side, midpoint of the Everton half for Ødegaard. Quiet Ødegaard today, and the quality delivery into the box just then, or over the top of the Everton defence and into the arms of Jordan Pickford.
I mean, spare a penny for the thoughts of Lacazette, because he has barely been on the ball, feeding off scraps, you know, which is hard when you're that front man. I mean, whenever I've seen Arsenal play, you know, whether it's that lone role, we often sort of ploughs it, sort of really like lonesome up there. You know, I know Vardy has a minimal amount of touches, but he always seems to get chances.
Everton managed to come forward here, and Richarlison, he's got the free kick. He was a bit frustrated the whistle didn't go quicker, but Everton was still in possession. Mike Dean, that was a good advantage there. Didn't actually come off, but it was always worth just seeing as Everton remained in possession. Now the free kick for Everton, and this is a decent position actually to get some quality into the box. Yeah,
I mean, unlike Arsenal, who when they go along to Lacazette, they're going to find it hard to get hold of it up against big centre halves. Richarlison's happy to take that body contact. He can out-muscle centre halves, although he's a little bit smaller, and he can also jump and spring. He did really well there up against Gabriel.
One goal away from 50 in English football is Richarlison. Sure he'll get it at some point between now and the end of the season. Might it come now? Townsend is over the free kick. We're left-footed in swinging delivery. He's clearly looking directly at one person. I wonder if it is Richarlison, and it goes towards Richarlison. There is goal number 50 in English football for the Brazilian. And on the balance of play, you'd just about say Everton deserve this lead. Quality from Townsend. They planned that, and it's Richarlison who may just have lightened the mood at Goodison Park. Everton 1, Arsenal 0.
Is he onside? That is the issue. It's a terrific ball in. Terrific ball in swinger from Townsend, who, as the camera panned to him just before he took the kick, I mean, he raised his eyebrows as if to say to Richarlison, right, get ready, because it's going in here. It's not going far post, it's going in the near. Get on your bike, and he does that. Terrific header, glances home into that far corner, and it is close. I think he's... Oh, it's close.
Knee, for me, plays him on, does it? No, it's offside.
Oh.
It is the shoulder of Richarlison, and goal number 50 will have to wait. He puts his head in his hand. Tomiyasu, I'll tell you, he made the mistake, Tomiyasu, because he went out and then he went back in, which none of the rest of the Arsenal defence did, and it would have been a clear offside if he hadn't. But for some reason, he made it very, very close. And Richarlison's shoulder, 5 centimetres offside, and it's back to Everton 0, Arsenal 0.
However, I am gonna have a little pop at Richarlison here, because he's got the eyebrow wink from Andros Townsend, knowing this ball is coming in. He doesn't move 1 inch to go back onside to then go back into the box. He just stays in an offside position. He's gambling. Tomiyasu is behind him, but he hasn't even looked. To me, he should have made sure he was definitely onside there, and he didn't.
Well, it's certainly changed the mood a little bit at Goodison Park. You would say if there was going to be a goal that Everton would probably deserve it so far.
Yeah, it's been a really good performance. High energy, high tempo. But as I say, normally when these crosses come in from a free kick and you've got the whole Arsenal defensive line, and as a forward you stand behind it in an offside position, normally you move back a yard to be in line with them to then dart back in. And that just ensures you stay on side, especially if that defensive line doesn't drop. And I think he could have moved there, Richarlison, just to ensure he was onside, but he didn't.
Joe Agite, you'll like this, David. I'm listening from Tamer Garner. I just want Arsenal to win. I'm a Liverpool fan, and I'm also disgusted by what Pickford did to Van Dijk.
Get in there.
There you go.
See?
You and Joe joining together.
We can carry that for life.
Nice to have Sean along, listening while out on a walk in Morro Bay, California. Lovely look. And his dog, I think it's called Shatsy. Maybe a Man United fan, literally wearing a Man United jersey is the dog, listening in, so probably doesn't care who wins this. Maybe marginally Everton, I suppose.
I tried to do that to my dogs for a Squid Game. Dress them up Halloween as Squid Game. So one had an Ireland shirt on, because Squid Game have been green, don't they? And the other one had a Dutch Paul Bosveld's Dutch shirt on. He's a bit big. Anyway.
Oh, the tails. Arsenal have possession in the midfield with Partey out to the left-hand side for Tierney. Tries to take on Gordon. Checks, turns it back. Nwasike Samuel, I completely agree with this as well. Godfrey was super fortunate not to see red. It's inconsistencies that baffle me. This same incident might result in a red in the next game. Here's the ball in towards Odegaard. Oh, Arsenal have the lead now, and that one will count. From the left-hand side, cross came in. Arsenal out of absolutely nothing against the run of play, you'd say, have scored. I think seconds after the 2 minutes of stoppage time should have been up as well. The half-time score now will surely be Everton 0, Arsenal 1. And the Gunners scarcely deserve this. But one quality ball into the box. And one quality finish unmarked from Odegaard on the volley makes it Everton 0, Arsenal 1.
Yeah, this has got to be the last kick of the half. I mean, it's really well finished from Odegaard, who just guides this cross back across the near post. It might have just come off his shin, but in the end it sort of nestles in at the near post. A brilliant ball in from Kieran Tierney, who had, I got to say, a little bit of luck. His first touch is a good one. His second touch bobbles away from him. It just helps him skip past Seamus Coleman. And the cross is absolutely brilliant. Just cut back fractionally into the path of Odegaard, who swept it home.
Odegaard's third goal of the season. I think you're right. It did come off his shin, but it was lovely control. Everton do kick off. We will continue. Perhaps the stoppage time will be increased slightly by the Richarlison goal that was chalked off by VAR. Well, now that really piles the pressure back onto Everton and to Rafa Benitez. His team talk. Pickford's clearance away is won by Tomiyasu. Holgate forced back by the pressure from Lacazette to the keeper. Pickford out to the right hand side for Coleman. There goes the half-time whistle. Well, the boos just audible as Everton make their way off the field, and I think that they're only quiet boos because frankly they played quite well, but they're still behind. Odegaard's goal the difference. Half-time, Everton 0, Arsenal 1. You're listening to Premier League Live.
From the terraces to the touchline, if you're the ultimate football fan, you need to subscribe to the Game Day podcast from TalkSport.
Oh yes! He's done it again!
It's the twice-weekly Premier League roundup that brings you big-name guests, in-depth previews and tough-tackling analysis from the world's biggest football league.
Oh, what a finish! He's beaten the keeper to it!
Feel the might of the top flight. Subscribe now to the Game Day podcast. Available on Acast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Get bowled over with Following On, the fast-paced cricket podcast from TalkSport that'll hit you for 6. It's a pitch-perfect delivery of first-class cricket news.
And that's a beautiful straight drive.
Boasting an impressive strike rate of exclusive big-name guests.
Oh, you little ripper!
And fielding fierce fan reaction.
Oh, that might be out.
Don't get caught out. Subscribe now to the Following On podcast. Available on Acast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
They faced bitter prejudice.
What they had to endure was horrific.
They battled injustice.
rules. Basically, they threw the rule book away.
But their talent was inextinguishable, and they rose to become sporting icons that etched their legacy on the history of English football.
What a strike! What a finish!
Coming in from the cold is an exclusive 6-part documentary that chronicles the struggles and the triumphs of black footballers in the English game. Join Jessica Crichton as she uncovers the untold stories and hears firsthand from a host of superstar names, including John Barnes, Viv Anderson, Luther Blissett, Andy Cole, Rachel Yankee, John Fashanu, and many more.
These guys went through it all, and they are true inspiration.
Coming in from the cold, the history of black footballers in the English game. Listen to the full series now, available on Acast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Tom Rennie here to tell you about a new soccer podcast called Week in the Tackle with me and Brian Dunseth.
That's right, Tom. Well, join us for new episodes every Monday as we argue about all the top soccer stories we think are worth tackling.
Plus, we'll welcome the occasional guest to join in on the debate.
Strong opinions, big stories, no agenda.
Week in the Tackle, available on Mondays from wherever you get your podcasts.
If it's a big story in soccer, we'll tackle it.
Got an unquenchable thirst for sport? Get up to speed with the day's biggest sports stories with the Talk Sport Hit. Crammed full of the latest team news, big match previews, and discussing the day's hottest topics.
An improvement week in, week out.
Plus, get all the latest results and full fan reaction to the biggest events in world sport.
It's a wonderful goal!
Satisfy your thirst for sports news with the Talk Sport Hit. Subscribe now on Acast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, the drama came late in the half, but there was plenty of it at Goodison Park. Anthony Gordon trying to close down Martinelli. Poor clearance by Gabriel, straight to Gray. Can he find the gap? He can't, but it runs to Richarlison anyway. Now to Corey in the box, and he's turned on a sixpence, and then the ball just got caught slightly under his feet, and he's tamely rolled it wide.
He's gone out for a corner, taken quick.
Taken short by Townsend to Gray. Can he work the opening? He can! Oh, it's a fabulous ball in. Diving towards it was Mina. He didn't get the touch, and nobody else gambled either. Flashes across the face of Aaron Ramsdale's goal. Goal kick, still scoreless.
Yeah, it's a brilliant ball. I mean, why is Jerry Mina the only one that's gambled across the middle of the box there?
Oh my, I've just seen a replay of an incident involving Godfrey and Tommy Asu, and Tommy Asu ended up with Godfrey's foot in his face, and that to me, we'll get your opinion, looked deliberate by Godfrey, and we have got the VAR checking serious foul play, and could Ben Godfrey be in serious trouble here?
Yep, I think he should. That is a certain red. You know, there's no place for this on a football pitch.
Stuart Atwell is there. It's not going to be a red card. One goal away from 50 in English football is Richarlison. I'm sure he'll get it at some point between now and the end of the season. Might it come now? Townsend is over the free kick. It'll be a left-footed in-swinging delivery. He's clearly looking directly at one person. I wonder if it is Richarlison, and it goes towards Richarlison! There is goal number 50 in English football for the Brazilian!
Is he onside? I think he's... Oh, it's
Tommy Asu's knee, for me, plays him on. Does it? No, it's offside. Oh. It is the shoulder of Richarlison, and goal number 50 will have to wait. As the ball in towards Odegaard! Oh, Arsenal have the lead now, and that one will count. From the left-hand side, cross came in. Arsenal out of absolutely nothing against the run of play, you'd say, have scored. I think seconds after the 2 minutes of stoppage time should have been up as well.
The cross is absolutely brilliant. Just cut back fractionally into the path of Odegaard, who swept it home.
Well, David Connolly, we've all been there as football fans when things are generally going against your team. You then play a half of football where you're on top and you think to yourself, yes, we're going to go in with the lead. It gets ruled out narrowly by VAR, and then out of nothing you find yourself 1-0 down at half-time. That is a tough one to take for Everton fans right now.
It certainly is. I mean, Richarlison's got put his shirt over his head walking off. He was devastated because he feels, you know, he was so close to giving them the lead, and that would have been a massive goal. First goal is always really important, isn't it, in games of football? Certainly when you're in a position that Everton find themselves in, but nonetheless, the goal for Arsenal was really well worked. It was an excellent goal, really well taken, lovely delivery into the box from Tierney, and it's a case of what might have been, I guess, for Everton.
Yeah, I mean, you and I have watched the Richarlison goal that was ruled out once again, and I think the point you made, I sort of asked you as a former striker, surely if he'd taken a step further back in the build-up, then he wouldn't have been in the same position in order to get the header. But, I mean, as you pointed out to me off air, actually, he holds his run, doesn't he? He has to take a step back after the ball's been taken in order to get that header on goal.
Yeah, because the ball is just ever so slightly behind him. It's never an issue, I think, of getting on the end of it, although in your mind as a striker, because it's an in-swinging ball, you think, I might have to go early here because I might not get... But then you have to trust the taker, that the taker won't put too much in-swinging spin on it and put it too close to the keeper, knowing that obviously if I go too early I'll be offside. So the taker's got to know that and the receiver's got to know that. So for me, Richarlison just had to go back half a yard, try and take his eye off Lacazette, who I think was the last man he could see, get back half a yard, then dart back in. He would have still made it, and maybe that is the real frustration for him, that he thinks he never quite moved. He stayed in that offside position and really he didn't know what was behind him.
Mentally now, what does the hammer blow of the goal against just before the break do to these Everton players when you're on a run of form such as they are?
Yeah, exactly. And obviously they played quite well. Their tactics, I thought, worked really well. The high press, they won a lot of turnovers, they forced turnovers, they looked in the ascendancy, looked very, very comfortable until that one sort of moment. And you got to credit Kieran Tierney down the left hand side. We spoke about what he gives you. That's why he plays so high. That's why you need a good left centre half, because if Tierney's not down the flank crossing balls in like that, well, who is? It's a great ball in.
What does Arteta say right now? Because I can't imagine, obviously you're never downhearted when you're winning. Can't imagine he's very happy with what he's seeing.
Absolutely not. We saw him on the sideline. He was going, berating his players because they were so sloppy, all over the pitch, a lot of misplaced passes, and, they didn't settle down and show any sort of quality apart from Bukayo Saka, and that is about it. So I'm sure he'll know they're 1-up. But really, it's a little bit lucky, and they'll have to improve in the second half.
Yeah, they're sort of more of the same in a way from Everton, but perhaps they need to find a way of creating more opportunities. A team that doesn't really struggle creating opportunities is Manchester City. Of course, back to the top of the Premier League after beating Watford comprehensively, frankly. It was 3-1, but it could have been about 7-1, I think, in the end on Saturday evening. They're back in Champions League action in midweek. They're playing RB Leipzig, the German side. Of course, joined in the Premier League, Pep Guardiola this week by yet another German, Ralf Rangnick, taking over at Manchester United. Thomas Tuchel and Jurgen Klopp already in the Premier League as well. And Pep Guardiola has been discussing just how much he has actually learned from the German coaches in and around him.
It was me, I learned from German culture and German football a lot. And that's why I'm so grateful for my experience in Germany, because I was the guy who got many, many things in this incredible country in Germany, this nice league, and they prove how good they are. Julian Nagelsmann in Bayern Munich and many others, and the manager for Southampton is exceptional. Ralf is exceptional manager as well. So I think the manager from Germany is a top class level. I learn a lot of them, and that's why they are already in a top clubs in England and doing an incredible job.
It feels amazing, David, that someone like Pep Guardiola can still feel that he even needs to learn stuff off of other coaches.
Well, look, he's part of the coaching fraternity, right? And I think that's just showing, mutual respect for his colleagues. He knows what a difficult job it is being a manager, and certainly in charge of huge football clubs, national clubs, etc. So, he's trying to appear humble there, but make no mistake. I mean, Pep is obviously on a different level, certainly to most, not all, but to most.
Well, I was just about to say, you might have answered the question there. Almost one-word answer territory, because we're running out of time. You're the owner of Hollywood FC, wherever that may be, and you can pick any manager in the world to coach your team. Who are you going for?
Let's say that it is New York City FC, who own Man City FC. I think when his contract ends, he might be over. Maybe not in Hollywood, but in New York, and it would be Pep Guardiola.
Would he be the one you'd choose of all of them?
Yeah. Look, he's a coach. He's a manager that coaches. Jurgen Klopp is a manager, doesn't coach. Tuchel, I think, is a bit of a hybrid, but for me, it's Pep.
Yeah, special, very much so. Second half of our game at Goodison to come. Everton 0, Arsenal 1 here on Premier League Live.
It's the ultimate fusion of football and celebrity.
The Best 11 podcast from Talk Sport.